Well, it's starting to look like another Jimmie Johnson 500 here at Martinsville Speedway. Mike Mullen from MikeMullen.net. Sunny Friday afternoon, going to be 70 degrees on Sunday. And Jimmie Johnson, well, he doesn't have to worry about Denny Hamlin this week. Denny Hamlin's on the sidelines. Got a new guy in the car, Mark Martin, one of the old guys. And then we got Brian Vickers substituting for Denny Hamlin. Next pick at Texas, Kansas. Don't know when Denny's going to be back. He was up here today talking and not looking very happy. He's got back problems. That crash at California, it's taking him out of the game. Probably taking him out of the championship. Did it put a bullseye on the back of Joey Logano? I don't know. We talked to Joey a little bit today. He says he and Tony Stewart, remember Tony, first flying at California after getting chopped off on a restart. He says he and Tony are at peace. And he figures he and Denny are going to be at peace too. Denny, not so sure. He's stewing. He says he was thinking the last couple of laps at California about how he was going to go to victory lane and congratulate Joey Logano on winning the race and how that's the way they ought to race. I don't know if that's really what he was doing. It looked like they were going at each other tooth and nail the last couple of laps there. Then Kyle Busch going by on the high side, and the next thing you know, Denny's in the inside wall, which should have been a soft wall. We all know that. NASCAR hasn't figured that out. They need to put that in there. They need to get off their billfolds and have these tracks put in soft walls everywhere that guys can crash. We talked to a lot of drivers about that. They go around these tracks with NASCAR and point out places that need to be fixed, and everybody agrees. We need to fix some of these things, but it's money. I'm thinking, now we got one of the big stars on the sidelines out of the championship race, Denny Hamlin. Didn't we have that same problem last fall? Dale Earnhardt Jr., one of the big stars, out of the race. No championship for him, one of his best seasons ever. Because NASCAR's got a rule that says if the driver's not in the car, you don't get championship points. I'm thinking NASCAR needs to get up off its butt and make a few changes here. Put in some soft walls, have a medical substitution policy. I'm not so sure what the 11 team's going to do. Darian Grubb, he's a trooper. But when you take a team out of the championship contention in April and expect them to run the rest of the season, they probably won't be that psyched up. We'll have to see if Mark can do something. We know Brian can do something. We'll have to see what happens here Sunday in the Jimmie Johnson 500. Jimmy's on the pole, gets the best pit stop. Tires could be a factor. They got those new cambered rear ends, remember? And I remember 1992 when the cambered rear ends broke every 30 laps about. We talked to Marcus Ambrose. He says he's not worried about broken rear ends, but he does say that the aggressive camber that some teams are going to use may hurt the tires. He's expecting tires to wear out a little bit more than usual. Jimmie Johnson says he's not expecting brake problems. He says that he's more worried about the rubber buildup on the track. Goodyear came with a different tire than they ran last year, one that has less gauge on it, so it doesn't put on as much rubber, so the drivers shouldn't be complaining about having too much rubber on the track. Sometimes they come up here and they feel like they're dodging big clumps of rubber out there. Shouldn't be an issue this time, but Jimmie says the track changes dramatically halfway through the 500, and all the practice you do on Friday and Saturday goes out the window about halfway through the race, and it's a 4-hour race. You're pretty much guessing. So far, Jimmie Johnson and Jack Knaus have been doing a pretty good job of guessing up here at Martinsville Speedway. Will they do it again? Might do it. Might do it. I was thinking Casey Kane, but he doesn't run that well here. Tony Stewart, he's got a lot on his mind, and he's not running that well here. And then there's Danica Patrick. Welcome to Martinsville, Danica. Her first race at this paperclip flat half mile. I can't wait to talk to her after the race. It ought to be really interesting. Jimmie Johnson, he's the man to beat. Can anybody beat him? Mike Mullen from MikeMullen.net. Martinsville Speedway, Friday afternoon.